So we're on our way to the bait shop to go fishing, and I want to talk about an important date for crypto and the markets that you need to keep marked, and that day is July 9th. Now, why is it that day is so very important? Well, it's that day that the hiatus on the trade war will actually be expired, which means if we don't have trade deals by that date with other countries, then the massive tariffs go back into effect, which will tank the market. Now, that was a 90-day hiatus, so we are almost halfway through the 90 days. I think by the time we get to like May 22nd or something, it will be halfway. So we're more than 1/3, less than half right now. And the progress does not seem to be very promising. We haven't really signed even one deal yet, and the only thing we've got is a framework of a deal with Great Britain. Now, Great Britain is one of the easiest ones for us to land a trade deal with, and I'm going to explain why. And this is with Trump's own formula of how much tariffs to actually charge. Trump's formula for tariffs is not based on what percentage of tariffs the other countries charge us. It's completely based on if and how big of a trade deficit we actually have with them. And that's how he determined the tariffs. Now, that's kind of nonsensical. That's like saying that I have a trade deficit with Target because I buy stuff from them and they don't buy stuff from me. Therefore, I must tariff them to become even. That really doesn't make any sense, but that's the Trump logic that he's actually using. But even according to that logic, it doesn't actually make any sense for us to have a trade war with Great Britain at all, because Great Britain is one of the few countries the US actually has a trade surplus with. That means they buy more stuff from us than we sell to them. And last year in 2024, our trade surplus with Great Britain was about $12 billion. So it didn't really make any sense to have a trade war with them in the first place. But a lot of stuff he does doesn't make sense. But he actually has somewhat of a framework. Now, there's still a lot of work to be done. But what I'm saying is the trade agreements with the other countries are going to be much harder because most of the other countries we do have a trade deficit with. And really no amount of tariffs will actually change the fact that we have a deficit. The US just consumes a lot more than other countries. Like for instance, with Canada, we actually have a trade surplus with them if you don't count energy. But Canada produces a lot more energy than they can consume, so they export it to other countries. And being right next to them, logistically, it just makes sense to buy from them because it's just cheaper to buy from them than everyone else. It's basically like me buying from Target over Walmart because Target is closer to me. But that doesn't actually mean I have to impose some kind of tariff to make it even. So that actually makes me a little bit worried because we're more than 1/3, less than 1/2 of the way through, and we've really gotten like the framework of one agreement, and there's over 100 countries. And if those tariffs come back in again on July 9th, and if he doesn't extend them again, the market's going to go down again. So there is a chance we peak at or around July 9th or slightly before that. And I do think you'll see the markets actually react pretty hard as we near that date. If there doesn't seem to be like any semblance of any kind of deals and no extension on the impasse on the trade war, then the markets will definitely go back down and GDP calculations will actually drop. Now, July 9th is past the cutoff for Q2, so it won't impact Q2 GDP, and I think he actually did calculate it that way. So we wouldn't actually go into recession, Q1 being negative, so he doesn't want Q2 to be negative, obviously. But it is very important for the rest of us. Now, the reason that some of you haven't seen prices start to go up yet is that the first containers that are going to be hit with 145 tariffs coming in from China have only started yesterday, more or less. And a lot of you probably won't see price increases for about 6 to 7 weeks. Now, I know a lot of you in the agricultural field have already seen the price of supplies actually go up. I understand that, but I'm saying for the rest of us consumers. And that's because the suppliers actually have inventory for about 6 or 7 weeks that was purchased before the tariffs actually came into play. So they're not going to raise the price on those goods. However, once that inventory is passed and they get these massive tariffs that are actually starting to hit, in actually about the same time, maybe like late June, early July, then you'll see prices start to go up, especially from China. Now, they are talking to China, and they say they might actually drop the tariffs down to 80%, but that's still pretty much unworkable. So we'll have to see what happens this Saturday. I don't think anything's actually going to happen on Saturday, and both sides are not willing to give in just yet. And China's exports for the last quarter actually went up because they're exporting more to other countries, according to the CNBC report. But they'll obviously feel the effect of not being able to export to the United States, because if they export to other countries, they probably do have to lower the price, and there have been layoffs in Chinese factories. Likewise, Americans are probably going to be very pissed off once their goods start basically going way up in price. Let's not forget there are exemptions which aren't eternal on these tariffs, like electronics. So not everything is going to be more expensive, and Trump is considering exemptions on stuff like automobiles as well. So July 9th is the date you need to keep a track of, and you do need to keep track of if we get any deals by July 9th. Now, about these deals, they don't really have to be good deals. Most likely for the major partners like Canada, Mexico, EU, and China, like the deals are going to be the exact same deals that we had before, and he's going to try to spin it off as a win somehow. But that's kind of not really the point, because we don't actually, in the crypto market, we don't actually need good deals, and this is true in the stock market too. We don't actually need brilliant deals. We just need deals. We just need this trade war to be over. We don't really need any kind of great negotiated settlements, because we're probably not going to get those anyways. But like, we just need it to be over. And as long as it's over, we'll actually go up. So it depends if like he decides just to end this trade war by going back to the old deals, or is he going to be a stickler and push for like new deals with things that are extremely favorable to the United States, which other countries most likely will not agree to. Other countries lowering some import tariffs on like American manufactured goods, especially for like third world countries, is completely pointless, and it's more of like a token, like symbolic thing, because they don't buy manufactured goods from the United States anyways. For instance, like Madagascar exports indigo. They could lower our tariffs for our consumer-based electronics in the United States, but that's completely irrelevant because they don't buy any consumer-based electronics that are manufactured in the United States, because their people obviously can't afford them. So like, you know, if he gets like concessions like that, those are more like symbolic concessions that don't actually mean anything. I don't think there'll be any real meaningful concessions for our major trade partners. But that's, like I said, perfectly fine as long as he ends the trade war, because that's really what we need for markets to go up. And hopefully he doesn't start it again within another year, because we're still going to have a trade deficit with those countries. That's not going to change. So that's what I have to say for today. Like and subscribe, hit the bell notifications button. If you actually want some of these economic explanations, I would actually go to the YouTube channel Clear Value Tax. He does actually explain some of these things pretty well, and it's pretty good information over there. So let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit the bell notifications button, and I will see you guys later.